This poor side table has really been through it, and I just keep adding more books on top. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Abby and I make bookish content here on YouTube and on TikTok. And today we are going to do a video of my fall TBR. Is it July? Yeah, but I am a fall girly. Fall time is my time, and I am definitely part of the stereotype of I do love a pumpkin spice latte. I do love comfy boots during the fall time, and I love to read cozy books. It's cozy season, so I need a cozy book. You feel me? So I thought I would gather together a bunch of books on my physical TBR as well as some other books that are new releases and talk you guys through them and why I'm excited to read them specifically during the colder month. Let's get started. We're going to start with my physical TBR first, and then afterwards I will go through all of the books, like the pre-orders and stuff that I am excited for this season. The first place we're going to start is horror, because as we've talked about briefly on my channel before, I am in my horror era. I'm really enjoying a spooky, scary book, and I'm learning which books in that genre I especially like. So I've got some choices for the fall time. This one is You Weren't Meant to Be Human by Andrew Joseph White. And this is a beautiful special edition by Evernight. And I couldn't be more excited to read this, to be honest. This one is about a spooky cult. It is about a transgender person. He joins this spooky, scary cult, and it's all part of like a hive mind type of mentality where they listen to these voices in their heads that tell them to do things. And in this one, he is being forced to get pregnant in order to continue the hive mind. And he struggles a lot with body dysmorphia in this because obviously he does not identify as a woman, but still has the appropriate parts to get pregnant. So I don't know, this sounds very creepy. I don't think I've ever read anything like this before. So I'm interested to see where this goes. I don't know. I mean, I hate to say that I'm excited because that feels wrong, but I am very intrigued by this book. Next, we have The Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Cañas. This is the author that wrote The Hacienda, another type of gothic horror novel. This one is about vampires on the Texas-Mexico border. It's like a Western supernatural horror book, and I really think I'm going to like this. I love anything gothic, and this I don't think will be any different. I guess she is on a ranch, and there are vampires outside of that border that want one of these girls. Something once attacked Nina 9 years ago. Nestor has been on the run from his grief ever since, moving from ranch to ranch. I don't know, it sounds very interesting. I'm intrigued on this one as well. I also think the cover is really cool. I tried to read The Hacienda a couple of years ago, but it was around the time when I wasn't reading as much, so I ended up putting it down. I will probably end up going back to get it if I like this one. And then the last horror that I have on my physical TBR that I specifically want to read this fall is Slewfoot by Brom. This one is a classic. Well, Brom is a classic horror novelist, and I'm very excited to read his work. I don't think I've read anything by him, but I follow him on Instagram, and I know that people just rave about these books. This one specifically is about witches, is about female rage, and I really like that Brom's books have imagery in the middle. I think that's so cool and really adds to the story. These books are so big that it gives you the vibe of reading like a fairy tale. I don't know. An ancient spirit awakens in a dark wood. The wild folk call him Father, Slayer, Protector. The colonists call him Slewfoot, Demon, Devil. All right. So next, let's move on to fantasy. I have a real hard hitter on the top here. This is Alchemized by Sin Lin Yu. This just feels like a book that you should read during the fall, doesn't it? Emotional, heartbreaking, immersive. I don't know. This originally started out as a fan fiction of Dramione and then got traditionally published. The author ended up changing, obviously, everything that had to do with Harry Potter, completely created their own story. And I've heard varying opinions on this of people really liking this or people saying that the fan fiction was much better. I don't know. This is like a 1,000 page book though, so this is a commitment. However, what better time to do it than when the weather is all gloomy and it's chilly outside? Malice by John Gwynne. Even the Brave Will Fall. This is part of his The Faithful and the Fallen series, book 1. The World is Broken. I believe this is another Viking fantasy. I have read books 1 and half of book 2 of his Bloodsworn Saga series, and I did like it, and I can see the potential. I need to pick it back up because I kind of got out of it and I let myself stop reading it, so now I've struggled to go back to it, even though I really liked it. So people say a lot of good things, and a lot of people say you should actually start with the Faithful and the Fallen series and then go on to Shadow of the Gods. So I don't know, I might try that. It's, again, another very large high fantasy book. So we'll see. I'm currently reading the first Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson, and I think I can only handle one epic fantasy series at a time. So by the fall time, I'll be done with Mistborn and I can go to that one. That's what I'm thinking, at least. Weaving Shaw by Hiba Al-Wasiti. Sorry, I definitely butchered that. It says, the price to enter is your darkest secret. This is a dark academia fantasy, and I love anything set at a Gothic school. A young woman who can see the dead strikes a deal with the magnetic and dangerous Saint of Silence, a purveyor of dark secrets, to save her brother's life. The first book of a trilogy. And I've heard good things about this. This has really pretty special editions as well. So if I like this, I may have to get me a special edition copy. Then we have Heavenly Bodies by Imani Ariu. Can Love Overcome Fate? Book 1 of the Heavenly Bodies series. So this one I know went viral on TikTok. Everybody raved about it. The second book is already out. I forget what it's called. It's somewhere on my bookshelves. But in a world ruled by the cruel and merciless stars, Ilara has been cursed by fate. Ilara? A prophecy promises she will fall for a star, but that it will kill them both. So when Ariete, star of wrath and war, descends to wreak havoc on Ilara's kingdom of night, she flees her home, only to be captured by the neighboring Helios, kingdom of light, and falls straight into the arms of an enemy prince. She has to train to become a weapon. There are shadows within the kingdom of light, and they threaten to reveal the darkness in Lorenzo's past and the ancient magic that slumbers in Ilara's veins. And with it all comes an undeniable star-crossed pull between Ilara and Lorenzo that neither can seem to resist. That sounds really good. I think this is just like basically a classic romantasy. Then we have A Dark and Drowning Tide by Alison Saft. This is a sapphic fantasy. It's an academic rivals to lovers. So the tagline for this one is, a sharp-tongued folklorist must pair up with her academic rival to solve their mentor's murder in this lush and enthralling sapphic fantasy romance. Say less. Okay, that sounds amazing. And I feel like I need to read more sapphic books because I feel like they're not as popular. But this one sounds so good. Once again, it's Gothic. Love that. Clearly, I think Gothic books should only be read during the fall time because that's like all I have in this stack. Moving on to 2 different cozy fantasies. Does anybody else feel like cozy fantasy books were made to be read in the fall? It just feels wrong to read them in any other season. I still do, but you know what I'm saying? Like, this genre deserves to be read in the best season. I have Masters of Death by Olive E. Blake. There is a game that the immortals play. There is only one rule: don't lose. So knowing what the Atlas 6 is, which is another series by this author, when I saw this book, I just figured it must be similar to that one. However, I watched one of my favorite booktubers read this. I'll put her name on the screen. Her name's Heather. And turns out this is a cozy fantasy. And then I immediately bought it because she made it sound like a lot of fun. Viola is a struggling real estate agent and a vampire. The house she's trying to sell is haunted. The ghost haunting the mansion has been murdered, and until he can solve the mystery of how he died, he refuses to move on. Fox is a medium, and though he is also most definitely a shameless fraud, he isn't entirely without his uses, seeing as he's actually the godson of death. So Viola and Fox team up together to take care of this ghost, help him solve his own murder, so that she can then sell the house. I don't know, it just sounds like a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun characters in this. An unruly poltergeist, a demonic personal trainer, a sharp-voiced angel, a love-stricken reaper, and a few mindfulness-practicing creatures. Okay, sign me up. All right. And then the other cozy fantasy I have here is Strange Familiars by Keisha Chow, I think. Two scholars of magical veterinary science must put aside their lust and loathing to save the world in the first installment of this whimsical, romantic, dark academia duology. And look how pretty this is. It's so pretty. This is an Owl Crate edition, and it sounds like fun. I think this is young adult, maybe. Maybe. I might be making that up, but this is the prettiest little book. Look at that. That is so gorgeous. And honestly, once again, we come to my favorite spot to be, apparently, which is a gothic academia romance novel. Need I say more? And then finally, we are going to discuss two contemporary romances just to mix it up a little bit. I've got Fake Skating by Lynn Painter. I have read Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter and really enjoyed it. It was just a classic young adult contemporary romance, but it was a good time. I don't know if it was right place, right time, but it was really good. I much enjoyed it. I've been meaning to read her adult romances, just haven't gotten there yet. But this one, growing up, Danny couldn't help but follow around the dorky and adorable son of her mom's best friend. So I guess it's going to be like friends to lovers, I guess? I don't know. I don't really know anything about this, to be honest, except that there's ice skating and potentially hockey in it, maybe? Can't even tell. But doesn't it look so cute? And then the last book on my physical TBR I want to talk about is Fundamentals of Being a Good Girl by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. Once again, this is an academic romance. This is professor student, and it just sounds fun. This is like a guilty pleasure read, and the fact that it's a forbidden romance, and I mean, sign me up. Sign me up, okay? And then last but not least, we're going to talk about some new releases that are coming out during the fall that I am excited to read. Let me get to my notes. So we have Trust Fall, also by Lynn Painter. And that one is going to be a new release this fall. I don't know what it's about. I just know that the cover is really cute. So I feel like I need to read it. The next book I have is The Knave and the Moon by Rachel Gillig. I read The Night and the Moth this year, gave it 5 stars, loved it. Thought it was just so unique and different and fun, and loved the banter between the two main characters, loved reading about knights, loved the divining part of the story. I don't know, prophetic dreams. It was just a good time. And I'm very excited to read The Knave and the Moon. I do have a pre-ordered special edition copy coming to me. So hopefully that gets here and I can read it ASAP. I've been looking forward to that one for months. And then the last book I'm going to mention is Grim Tidings by B.K. Borison. This is another contemporary romance. It is the second in a holiday series that she has. The first one was Good Spirits, and that one was a like Ghost of Christmas Past retelling. Loved it. Gave it 5 stars. It was such a feel-good romance, and I had a great time with it. I don't know. I still think about that book, and I really want to reread it this like fall, winter time. Grim Tidings, however, is about a Grim Reaper. Yeah, sure. Why not, right? That sounds great. I have read a couple books about Grim Reapers, I'm pretty sure, and they're always a fun time, and that is perfect for spooky, scary season. All right. Anyway, that's my fall TBR for the next few months, and you should tell me, what do you want to read this fall, because I will add it onto this list.